Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we have Game 4. The Lakers are down 0-3 in the series against the Thunder. The game is at 7:30 p.m. Pacific here in Los Angeles, 10:30 Eastern, Crypto.com Arena. And before we even get started, I just want to thank everybody for being here. You know what I mean? And I enjoy covering the Lakers all season long. This has been a good season, a better one than last year in every way I can consider it. And I had a great deal of fun with you all and really appreciate all of the support that people have been giving me on this channel, especially those who've been commenting, who haven't received a response. It's not because I don't want to respond, of course. It is because they just won't allow me to. I sent them an email telling them about the problem, and I'm hoping to receive some type of response. I have yet to receive that. So I may hit them again. I hope to have this situation fixed soon, but for now, it looks as if I'm not able to show any concern, but I care a great deal about everyone who comments and interacts with this channel, and do so at your leisure. Do so at your leisure. So yeah, man, I just want everybody to know the Lakers are probably going to be going home tonight. That's I'm preparing for the worst. I'm hopeful that the Lakers will be competitive this evening. I really am. A Game 4 in our building, protect our house. We've had a nice long season where we've done a lot of good. You know, I think there's been some real highs out there for this season, but we are now down 0-3. No one's ever come back from that. And, you know, if the Lakers win tonight's game, maybe we'll start to feel that feeling about some hope. But right now, they haven't given us a whole lot of hope about. We have been getting beat. Somewhere within the range of like 22 points a game is what we're averaging or something like that in deficit. We've had circumstances where we've had leads in most of these games, but it follows the pattern of the Denver Nuggets series where you have a lead and then you lose. Not quite the same thing because the Nuggets are usually close games. The Thunder is blowing us out. But it's a consistency here with the Thunder to where this is what it's been all 6 times that we've seen them this season, including regular season and playoffs. They blow us out by about 20 points. No matter what's going on. We just come out of the locker room flat. They extend their depth, and we're just not able to match that. And we're going to have to do some things in the offseason to ensure that we're closer in competition with this type of team. But, you know, I think this has been a fantastic season. You know, the one thing that I said before the playoffs started was just get me to the Thunder. I want a meeting with the Thunder. I don't think we can beat the Thunder, but if we can get a meeting with the Thunder, that would be awesome. I was hopeful that we would see them in the 3rd round, but obviously that's not how our path went for these playoffs. We got a chance to see the Thunder in the 2nd round, and here we are with an opportunity to extend the series with our backs against the wall. The first time we find ourselves in this situation in these playoffs, we saw a team in that situation against us, and they won 2 games. But unfortunately, the competition's a bit different. We're not the Thunder. And this ain't the Rockets. So, yeah, man, this is real tough for us. But, you know, we're still able to play 48 minutes tonight. And I think that should be something a lot of guys on this team should feel really relieved about, because some of them really look bad in Game 3. DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia had bad series. It's a bad playoffs overall. You know, Jackson Hayes has not looked good in these playoffs, not in this series at all, probably not really in the Rocket series much either, after having probably his career season. And, you know, this is when you have an opportunity to leave people with a good taste in their mouth about your name, especially if you're going in as a free agent. Austin Reeves, obviously much has been said about his struggles. He's looked really bad since coming back from injury, with the exception of Game 2 where he went for 31 points, still turned the ball over a lot, but you would say that he shot really well. But he's been bad 2 out of those 3 games, and we really are disappointed with his performance overall, even if the excuse is there for the injury. Last year, of course, he had injuries in the playoffs as well with the foot. Not much was said about that, but it was what it was. He's not healthy right now, but we need him to be at his best against the best, and that's just a tough task, but that's what it means to be in the playoffs. That's what it means to be in the NBA, and that's definitely what it means to be in the Lakers organization. So it's been unfortunate. I think some big changes could be coming. Big names could be on the move. Giannis, I look at a picture of Giannis popping up as I said that, which was so ironic. I looked over and glanced, and it was Giannis with an ad. But yeah, Giannis is on the move. The Bucks are open for business officially. The word is going out around the media that they're ready to make a move, and the Lakers are a team that they're going to be discussing with. I don't know that I'm super against making a move for this guy, man. Looking at how bad we look right now and how much of an uphill battle it is with LeBron potentially retiring whenever he decides to. We need Luka to have a nice running mate that can catch lobs, and we need to be able to close in on the teams like this and the San Antonio Spurs in order to capture this timeline. I don't know that we can do that without adding something special. I don't know if Giannis is the answer. And maybe some of you will say this is not the time for that because we're still playing. But, I just think it's a very tall task to think you're going to go up against the Thunder on a closeout situation and see anything less than what you've been seeing. And so that's the conversation here. I'm not saying we're giving up. In fact, I'm telling us to fight. I think people should be fighting for their own careers tonight. And the best way to do that is to look good in a team setting as a unit, to leave people with a better taste in their mouth about what they've seen from you, Ayton looked really bad in the last game, even though I was pleased with his rebounding in the first half. 5 offensive boards is good, but his defensive rebounding was horrific, especially in the fourth quarter. He really needs to have a better game tonight. He needs to leave people with a better thought in their head about him than what we're going out with. That last impression is important. First impression is important, but when it comes to these playoff situations, last impression is important too. How'd you go out? What was the last thing people saw you doing? Because that's going to be the first thing they think about when it's time to think about whether or not you coming back. And like I said, the Lakers need to make big changes, man. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I don't think this roster can beat the Thunder even next year. Even if we add a center in the draft, you know what I mean, maybe add a free agent or two, we're going to need to do more. We're going to do something big to be able to compete with this team. And depth is the story. And so if we're not adding depth, we're still not going to be better than the Thunder or anywhere near them, in my opinion. So like I said, this Giannis thing is interesting to me, especially with how frustrating we are with how we're looking right now. But the reality is you can bring Giannis to the situation. If you're depleting depth, you ain't going to beat the Thunder. They still going to whoop you with the Isaiah Joes and the A.J. Mitchells and next year Thomas Sorber and whoever else they bring in the draft. These next 2 drafts, picks that they have are pretty interesting. I'm sure they'll probably move up in the draft. They can move 2 for 1 to get them even 10 more talented draft pick to consolidate some of their assets. I'm hearing that the Washington Wizards may be willing to consider moving down in this draft to go acquire multiple players. So it's just a lot of stuff going on that don't have nothing to do with Game 4 in my head, to be honest with you. And I think that's just what comes of being down 0-3 and getting whooped by an average of 22 points. It just don't make you think too much about basketball in the present, but more so how you can ensure that you never feel this feeling again where you're getting swept in this embarrassing of and demonstrative of a fashion. And so as a fan, I'm not the rah-rah, we can do it. Not when you're getting beat 20 points in 6 straight games against the same damn team. You haven't shown up against the Thunder not one time, Lakers, if I'm being completely honest with you. Y'all ain't even shown that y'all can pinch them or blow in their direction and make them feel uncomfortable or nothing. This has been absolutely, a domination of the highest order. The OKC Thunder look a lot better than they should against us, and maybe you want to throw the excuse that Luka's not out there. That's cool, but Luka's one man, 36 points. I don't think things would be that much different even if he were out there because we still lack depth. We still lack athleticism. We still lack the ability to defend this team as well as we need to. And you need to be able to do that in order to beat them, Luka or not. And nobody thought we were going to beat them even with Luka. Let's just be honest. They still outclass us by a lot. So if we're not going to build this team to be what it's supposed to be, then we need to consider what it looks like to rebuild. I don't think anybody wants to think about rebuilding, but I'm not up for getting swept out of the playoffs by the Thunder every year. I'm really not. I'm not up for that at all. I don't think Luka's up for that. Ain't no sense in wasting his prime doing that. So I'm encouraged by the idea that we can make changes, and I feel listened to by Rob Pelinka over the years. I feel like he's been doing things that I've been pleased with in some areas that are really, really intricate and important to me. Asset management is why I think we were in a position to get Luka, but we got to get better players on this team now, man. We have to make home run hits with the players that we get, and we got to be aggressive in doing so this offseason. That's what the mentality of this franchise should be right now, in my opinion. Being careful is good, and we appreciate being careful. But if we're not being aggressive, we're not respecting our timeline this offseason. That's what I got to say. We got to be aggressive, a lot more aggressive than we've been. We got to make sure that we hit home runs with these free agents. We got to hit home runs with our assets to preserve that timeline. And if we're not going to preserve the timeline, then we need to hit home runs in liquidating our assets. That's it. So, as far as this game is concerned, man, I don't really care about this game. I checked out. After game 3, I checked out. If y'all saw my reaction, I'm done. I'm really done with this unit. No disrespect to them. I'd love to have Luka part of this unit. I think we probably win a game or 2, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for championships, bro. And if we're not thinking about how we can build championships as an organization, then we're playing ourselves, because this is not what we're about. I respect that, this has been a good season. I thought about that going into this video. Like, this has been a good season. I've had more fun with this team than I've had in 6 or 7 years. These guys have made my night, a lot of the nights, especially early in the season and throughout the month of March. Some of the highest highs that we've had in non-championship seasons in a very long time. I am not unhappy with this unit and what they've done. I just think they've reached their ceiling. I think this is as good as it gets. Once you run into the Thunder, you go home with this unit. Whether they had Luka out there, everybody healthy, there was no way we were going to actually be a serious threat to them, or the Spurs, or the way certain teams in the Eastern Conference are playing right now, either with Jake LaRavia and some of these other guys on this team, Dalton Connect playing serious roles, or rather eating up important roster spots. You're not going to be able to match the depth and the intensity of those teams. You're not going to be able to give your stars enough of a breather throughout the course of a season so that they be fresh enough as they need to be against this athletic young team. And like I said, that's all I care about, is getting to a championship and overcoming the best team out there. So for me, that's really what it is. I'm doing homework on players, man. I want us to knock it out the park in the draft. I think we can address our center position in that second round, which is something that I think the Lakers need to be considering. If obviously you can get a player at 25, but we need multiple players. But we need to balance and understand that if we get the wrong players, coach ain't going to play those young guys. That's going to be a big problem if we're not finding solutions. But we need to find depth. We need to find players that can help us, and we need to find players that coach will play. Players that he's comfortable with, people that he can trust. And he needs to do a better job of trusting who we have and developing who we have, so that he can build that trust within the player and within himself for the player. And I don't think he's done the greatest job with that, and I think it's hurt us in this series. When you run into a team like the Thunder, you can go 12 and 13 deep, and you don't want to play certain guys. That's a deficiency of both the guys that you don't want to play and the coach for not being willing to fail with players to give his stars and his bench players a rest. You got to be willing to fail with players, JJ. You can't be so afraid to play people that you forget the need to have fresh legs on the basketball floor. You can't be so enamored with people's deficiencies or uncomfortable with people's deficiencies that you forget that guys like Marcus Smart and LeBron James and Ayton need a break. That is just as essential to your success as players making good decisions, because if tired players make poor decisions, tired players don't get back on defense. Tired players fuss at the ref instead of getting back on defense, etc. You can't allow your guys to get exhausted. And we have older guys who are not going to be able to be fresh for you, man. You got to be willing to play people, and our GM has to be able to put those people in place so that you'll play them. And so I think that in the draft we can find some pieces, but I am concerned that he ain't going to play them pieces. But I'm looking at names. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at names, and we'll be talking about that in a different video. But that's where my head is. I'm telling y'all, man, going to the game, if I don't give a shit about this game, I swear to God, I don't care nothing about this game. Thunder could sweep us by 20. I don't care. We can win this game by 15. Cool. I don't give a damn about game 4. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I think there is a world, and I'll be careful because I haven't thought this through at all. This is on the fly, I'm saying this. But there is a world where if you lose 3 straight games by 20 points, you shouldn't have to play game 4. The other team shouldn't have to play you again, and you should not be forced to go back out there to get done the same way in a game 4. I think series should end in 3, depending on the scores. There should be a score threshold for consecutive games. This shit the Lakers got going on shouldn't be no game 4. The Thunder should not have to be forced to play against us so that one of their players could potentially get hurt or something like that. They shouldn't even have to. You don't have to play this team no more, man. We get it. We get it. You're a lot better than them. You're a lot better than them. Okay? And if I were on the other side, I would argue this vehemently. I don't want Shea to go out there and roll his ankle in a game 4 against the Lakers when we beat them by 1,000 3 straight games. Get them out of here. I'm just being honest. I've been on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I can argue it from this side. We ain't good enough to see this team. There should be no reason we playing no game 4. There should be no reason. The NBA should do something about that. And they will. If Chet Holmgren goes down with a season-ending injury in this series or something like that, they will. Consider what I'm saying. They should. You got to be preventative. You don't even let that thing happen. You got to get ahead of that. And if Adam Silver is smart, he will consider what I'm saying and take it back to the thinkers of the NBA front office, because this is serious, man. This is serious. I don't want to be blown out in Game 4 by 20 points, but I understand that after 6 straight games, it's likely what we're going to see. And so I'm just being honest with you. If the Lakers go out there and win this game, prolonging the inevitable, man, this team's a lot better than you. They've proven that already. So, now if the games are close, if all 3 of them games are close, within 15 points a game or something like that, that might be my threshold, might be 18 points. 3 straight 18-point losses should tell the story, but if you can keep it within 17, a lot of different things can contribute to that. But once you start getting into blowout territory, yeah, man, 3-game limit, get out of here. It's nobody said to play you no more, man. We get it. The better team has been determined at that point. So that's why I'm telling y'all, like, this Game 4 thing, nobody's ever come back from a 4-0 deficit. I would imagine that the first team that does come back from a 3-0 deficit, rather, is not going to have been blown out 3 straight games. They're going to have had some close games. You know what I'm saying? They're going to at least be able to pinch the other team a little bit. So that's my attitude, man. Very defeatist as it pertains to this season. If this team goes out and win, I'll be watching. We'll cover the end of the game. I'll be excited, rooting for them. I'm watching. I want them not to turn the ball over. I want them to hit threes. I want them to rebound the ball. I want them to do all the different things that you need to do against the Thunder. Take care of turnovers, all of that. Yeah, that's cool, bro. Yeah, that's great. But look, we're in the offseason now, as far as I'm concerned, and we need to start thinking about how we can get a little more athletic, how we can replace whatever we're losing, how we can get a lot more depth in our team, and how we can establish some center depth. I would not be upset if the Lakers use a center for the 25th pick and get a center with a pick that they acquire in the second round. I would not be unhappy if the Lakers acquired 2 centers in this draft. In fact, I can think of more than 2 that I actually want to bring in. Ironically enough, we need to be focusing on making sure that our center depth is real on this team, because right now we have 2 legitimate centers in rotation, and neither one of them can do all that the job entails. And we have long agreed on this channel with the Lakers that center position is the least most valuable position. I will say that. I don't think that you're going to find as many high prospects in that position at all. And so I have been reluctant to want to bring myself too many centers because I just don't think they're worth as much. But you can't allow that to leave you without any centers or without legitimate centers. You can't do that. And if I want to task Rob Pelinka with doing anything wrong, it would be not valuing the center position enough to solidify it fully, especially since we don't think much of it. Make sure you have those center pieces in place, bam, so that we don't have to think about it no more, so that there's not a whole lot of turnover in that position. That's why I want us to really consider drafting a center in this draft, or two, and there's some good ones. Reed, Luigi, Swego. It's a dude that I did homework on. Baba Miller, I think, would be really, really interesting for us. There's guys, man. Henri Vesar, although I'm not the biggest Vesar fan, I love the idea of a stretch 5, and he's probably the only one in this draft. He probably will be available at 25. I think he's probably good money at that position for us. If you get lucky, something crazy happens, maybe you can get Acquaintance if he falls, although I don't expect it, or somebody like that. But we need to be considering the center position in a very real way. I respect we can use a wing. I don't expect the Lakers will pass up on a wing that falls to them. If a car falls to you, I'm still with taking the best player on the board, so long as we can get a second round pick and draft a center there. And there are at least 5 centers in the second round that I think could be legitimate players for us. So you don't have to use 25 on a center. You don't have to. So long as you do what you always do and buy us a second round pick. Buy your way into the second round. Even at the second half of the second round, you can get a Baba Miller. We need a center, bro. And we need someone that's going to be in place that we can trust. Be somebody that can catch lobs from Luka. Be somebody that can be versatile enough to get out and defend. Wings. If we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, that's why I'm thinking about this Baba Miller guy. Because he can defend wings and he can play some center. He has some issues. That's why he's in the second round. He's not the greatest prospect. But the point is, he's versatile enough to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone if you need. And that should be something we should be thinking about. If you want to trade up and get acquaintance, I don't really love acquaintance, but he's exactly what we need. Somebody who's athletic enough to get out and guard 2s and 1s, and then somebody who can get back and block a bunch of shots like a Robert Williams. Trading up to get him makes all the sense in the world to me. Making sure he's solidified with the Lakers is a home run for our franchise future. I don't even like Quentin, but when you talk about players that we need, he fits all the boxes of what we need. And if his value is going to fall, don't let him go to damn OKC or something like that. You need that, please. You need him. And next year, you need to make sure you have some picks, too, so you can draft even more centers if necessary. But we got to make sure our centers are in place, man. That's if anything this series has taught me, is that the center position that we have is not cutting it. This Ayton experiment has been up and down. I don't hate Ayton. I actually don't mind bringing him back next year, but we better have about 2 or 3 people ahead of him. He is not the starter. He's not the starter. No. And Jackson Hayes is a nice piece. I like Jackson. We can bring him back, but he better be the 4th center off the rip. He better be 4th, or he better have 2 people who are better than him, ready to take his spot at any moment. That's just what it is, because these playoffs show me that we don't have the size, man. We do not have it. This Maxi Kleber thing, that is unacceptable. There's no reason we should be having no Maxi Kleber on this roster right now. No disrespect to him. He's shown me some good things at times, but if he's my 3rd center, I am not serious. I'm not a serious contender by any stretch of the imagination. Rostering him and other guys on this roster that don't play, this is ridiculous. Everybody on our roster needs to be able to play, man. So, when we go into game 4, I'm saying, yo, take care of the basketball, rebound the ball, play well, fight. Hopefully you win. If so, we'll be excited about game 5. But going into game 4, I'm thinking about, yo, it's off-season time. What we doing? What we doing with this roster? What we doing? Who can help me? What type of centers can I get? Is there a way I can get Terrence Reed? Terrence Reed will be an excellent strength player, fantastic in the box score, can rebound the ball very well, block shot with the best of them, catch a lob here or there. Not really athletic inside, but he definitely has the ability to guard multiple positions. A very strong body. We're talking about Flory Badunga. He's also a guy who can get out there and guard wings and then get back in the paint and be as strong as he needs to be. I like him a lot. Telling you, man, that's where my head at. I don't know what the Lakers thinking about. Obviously, our unit shouldn't be thinking like this. But me, how can we get better at the center position? How can we get better at the center position? My wing position is an emphasis of need as well. Don't get it twisted. My center position is primary, but my wing position is necessary. I got to get better in both of those areas, man. I need better banshees. This Jake LaRavia, Vando stuff. Thank you for y'all services. I truly appreciate y'all, but this is the end of the road for that tandem of banshees for me. No, not at all, fam. Go hit me a Dalen Swain if he falls to 25, and then get me a couple second rounders and draft me some second round centers. Zubi Ejiofor, he's a little undersized, but he'll help us there. I'm a big fan of Joshua Jefferson at 25. If we get Joshua Jefferson, he's not really a center, but he surely boosts our front court. He can do some center things at the 4 spot. Small ball. These centers are there, man. Let's go. Ruben Chinyelu. I'm going to make a video on him later on today. He fits the bill. Definitely a very strong African dude. Dunk the ball. Guard multiple positions. Very well conditioned. Chinyelu is definitely somebody on the list. Suego, 7'4" out of Italy. 3-level scorer. Blocks a lot of shots. I haven't done homework on some of these other guys, but Nate Biddle, who's that? Malachi Marino, I ain't done homework on him yet, but he's a center. We need to know who these people are, LA. That's the bottom line, bro. Because this series has shown me something, and what it's shown me is that we are not good enough. We ain't good enough, bro. All this talk about Game 4 is wonderful. I'll leave it up to somebody else to break down what the Lakers need to do to keep their season alive. But as for me, what's up with Ade Mara? Can we trade up to get Quaintance? Can we get Morez Johnson? For real, bro. So that's where my head at, man. 7:30. I'll be watching the team. I'm a fan of the Lakers regardless of who we have. If you can run a bunch of point guards, we can get beat by 70. I'm still going to want to cover the team because I love what we do here. But if you want to be pleasantly provided content, you'll make sure that your team is better than what it's been these last couple of weeks. I will say that. We have not been very good. Obviously, Luka masks a lot of things. If he's going out there scoring 50, we probably win a game or two. But, like, Luka should not have to deal with this roster anymore. He should not have to deal with this anymore. None of this. And that doesn't include LeBron James. Obviously, I love what LeBron's been doing. I would love to bring him back next season. In fact, I think we need to, given how our roster is constructed and what our prospects for free agency looks like. The Lakers would be wise not to disrespect LeBron James in this offseason. I'll be very disappointed if he walks away feeling disrespected. Now, if he prices himself too high, that's on him. But don't disrespect the king like he isn't essential, especially after these playoffs and what he put him, what our roster put him through at age 41. He should be handsomely rewarded for that. So I just want to put that out there. My calculus on LeBron James, at this point, 8 years sitting here, one championship, I'm not overly thrilled with that. But the reality is, most of the time it wasn't his fault. Most of the time it's because we had roster choices that we made that left us deficient year in, year out. Maybe they were trying to make him happy. Maybe it is his fault. I don't care at this point. We're in a position to where we move forward with Luka, and Luka needs LeBron. That's the bottom line. Luka needs LeBron. So, yeah, man. Austin, I love you to death, brother. I really do. I'm such a fan of you, dog. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate watching you grow up in this uniform. But I can't see a world where I'm not trying to shop you this offseason for a guy like Giannis or something like that. If you decide to sign elsewhere, with that being the case, I respect it. I really do. I really do, bro. I really do. If you decide to go and leave my team and get a bag, know that you'll be supported here. We appreciate you just like we appreciate AD, man. Some guys, they put on this uniform, whether they win a championship or not, you just appreciate what they've done, man. And Austin is always going to be a fan favorite here. That's family. I want us to go forward with Austin, but I don't see a world where we can. Not while getting what we need. I don't see it. I just don't see it, bro. So I'm partial to Austin because I'm a fan of his specifically. I don't know that I can't get what I need if I move him though. Sign a trade. Like I said, if he decides to sign elsewhere because of what it is that conversation is, I respect it. Get a bag from a team like Orlando or something. I get it, dog. I get it. But I can't promise you I'm not gonna be looking to move you if you do resign here. If we still have some of these same problems, you can't be healthy in the playoffs. 2 years in a row you ain't been healthy in the playoffs, dog. That's bad data. I can't do nothing with that data, dog. I can't do nothing with that. And then the deficiencies, turn the ball over, missing shots. I know what you can do with your ceiling. We saw it. 50 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Like I would not be surprised if you go on and make several All-Star teams after this season. I expect you to do that, especially with a higher usage. But I'm slapping you next to old-ass LeBron and Luka Doncic. I just need you to be faster, quicker, better with the basket, more efficient. I need you to be all types of stuff that's just not who you are, dog. So if the Lakers come back with Austin Reeves, I'll be extremely pleased. I'm always going to want him here. But the truth is, we ain't got a lot of time to win, man. We only got 5 minutes. This timeline going to be a wrap. Luka going to be a free agent, and we better have our crap in order when that happens. That's really what it comes down to. I think Luka loves playing with Austin. That's something that needs to be said as well. I think Luka and Austin are great buddies. I think they would love to be on the team with one another for the rest of their careers. But can we build something that can actually beat the Thunder if we're paying them what they're supposed to be paid? And the answer is absolutely not. I think the answer is no. That's what the answer is. And it hurts me to say that. And I was listening to somebody, a Laker analyst, he was essentially saying that he doesn't believe that we've always, as an organization, but particularly our GM, Rob Pelinka, has not always been honest about where his wins need to now be, because, you know, the calculations on wins as it pertains to players that he's brought in that have been successful versus maybe players that he didn't bring in, that he let go of and stuff like that. He hasn't always been as honest about when it's time to move on from something that worked or when it's time to walk away from something you truly believe in. I'm inclined to see this, that is, you know, evident to me as well in some cases. You know, certain things that we need to get better at. Bringing ourselves things that this unit can use. Allowing for stuff that we believe in to not necessarily come in and not be its best in our orbit. You know, I said the same thing about the young, you know, ball handlers. We're bringing ourselves too many ball handlers, leaving ourselves with not enough centers. We love ball handlers, we don't love centers, so that makes sense. But we got to know when to leave the ball handler over there and to bring the center to us. It's in that same ballpark. We just got to get better in those areas of our scope on what we need to do for our team, respecting our timeline a lot better than we have. So, like, this is why I'm on some aggressive off-season talk right now, because I just think that we've been a bit conservative for good reason. You know, get the value guy, not give up too many picks for this, make sure we win the trade there. All of that is really extremely appreciated here. But there's a shift that's taking place, and that shift comes from getting my ass whooped by 20 points every game I've seen against the same team that so happen to be the NBA champions. I need to be more aggressive. If I'm going to be running the Lakers, if I'm Rob Pelinka, I need to be more aggressive in this era, man. And I got to be a little safer in some areas, and I got to be a little more risky in other areas, and I got to have a balance, and I got to do it right, and I got to get it right now. That's really what it comes down to, man. That's where I'm at. I think this, if people are reading the tea leaves I'm reading, if people are feeling the way I'm feeling, this could be one of the most aggressive offseason the Lakers have had in years. Aggressive as hell, bro. That's what I think we need to be. We need to be urgent and aggressive about improving this roster from top to bottom. We need to not be comfortable with just one little pick here, one little draft pick here and one little free agent there. We need to be moving stuff and being honest about what can help us get where we want to go and what can't. And hanging up the phone with people who try to fleece us just the same. We ain't taking on no bad trades. But we will have to be aggressive in order to get where we want to go, or to at least close the gap so we're not getting swept by the Thunder every damn year. That's all I'm saying. Close a gap, bro. We can lose to the Thunder next year. I'll be fine if we can make it a series, if we can make it so that we're not getting blown out every night. Because this distance is unacceptable for our timeline, bro. We can't be this much worse than that team without Luka. Because Luka may not be around. He may get hurt again next year. His conditioning is not to be, bet on every year. So it's like, yeah, we gotta be able to compete without our star. Look how they look without J-Dub. We ain't even seen J-Dub. And they're blowing you out by 30. Like, this ain't the year to go in and run it, but ain't running shit back. We gotta get better. That's my attitude at Game 4, bro. Game 4, I don't know. This roster's not, you know what I'm saying? Go out there and fight, guys. You know what I'm saying? You wear our uniform, go out there and do it proud, man. If you can win this game, use all of my pessimism as motivation to get you where you're going, because, damn it, extend your series, be the first one to come back from a 3-0 deficit. I will root for you the whole way. I believe that somebody's going to do it. Someday, someone's coming back from a 3-0 deficit, and it's going to take one game at a time, one quarter at a time. That's what I got for that. I'm saying, like, I ain't gonna be too crazy about that as it pertains to what I think, but that's what it requires. One quarter at a time, one possession at a time, man. Somebody's gonna do it someday, and there's gonna be a good reason to be pessimistic about them when they're down 0-3, and they're gonna come back. So yeah, that's what I got to say about that. Since we're supposed to be talking about Game 4, I guess I'll show you what the team is wearing. You know what I'm saying? Get into the starting lineup and all of that. Projected starting lineups, injury reports, all of that's very necessary. So the Lakers are going to be wearing black tonight. We'll have an alternate floor. And the Thunder will have their blues on. I'm sure it's going to bounce off that alternate floor very nicely. And I'll be happy to bring that back. I like that touch. We should always have an alternate floor. Maybe even two. If you want to bring another in, I think that would be really cool. Thomas Sorber is out for the season. Of course, J-Dub will not waste his time tonight. Luka Doncic is the only player on the injury report. Welcome back, Vando. Even though he didn't play in the last game, he's available. Not even on the injury report. We're very happy that Austin fought his way back. He deserves to be given all the respect in the world. We only got one guy on the injury report. That's special. So, yeah, man. That's it, bro. All the X's and O's and all that, man. You've been getting beat by 20 points. If you don't go out there and show that you can at least have a close game, then the attitude all season long is how can we get some players in here that can be better than what we've seen in this series. Because whether we had Luka or not, getting beat up by 20-something points, letting them give us a second highest playoff deficit for a home team in our franchise history in Game 3, it was absolutely unacceptable for our franchise, y'all. There's a reason why we haven't lost that bad but one time in our home gym in the playoffs. We've had worse teams make the playoffs and not get stomped out that bad. So, I get it. This is the champs. They're the greatest team assembled since the Golden State Warriors with Steph and KD and all them. I get it. I totally get it. This is reasonable. This is understandable. No Luka, all that. Wonderful. Cool. Get better. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.